You know that person, right? The one who can talk their way into anything and always seems to get what they want. Well, I'll tell you, it's probably not charm and it's definitely not luck. It's a strategy, a calculated part of psychology designed for one thing and one thing only: control. Today, we're cracking open that playbook.
So, what if you could have that kind of influence? What if you could get that yes from your boss, win any argument, or just steer a conversation exactly where you want it to go? Well, stick around because we're about to break down 5 of the most powerful techniques that make it happen.
Okay, before we go any further, we have to put a warning out there. This stuff is powerful, and it can easily be twisted for manipulation. Our goal here isn't to create manipulators. Nope, it's to arm you with knowledge so you can spot these tactics a mile away and know how to defend yourself against them. So let's be crystal clear. Use this information wisely, okay? With that said, let's get into our first technique.
Kicking us off at number 5 is a masterclass in sneaky control. It's called the illusion of choice. The whole idea? Make someone believe they're the one calling the shots, when in reality, you've already decided the destination.
Just look at the difference here. Want to go out? Is a simple yes or no question. You're handing over all the control. But asking, Pizza Hut or Domino's? See what happens? The question is no longer if you're going out. That's a done deal. They're just choosing between the options you've given them.
And don't for a second think this is just some simple social hack. Oh no, this is a cornerstone of modern marketing and politics. I mean, think about it. A brand asks, which of our new phones do you prefer? Not, do you want to buy from us? A politician frames a debate as, should we fund this with plan A or plan B, completely blowing past the question of whether it should be funded at all. They guide you by limiting your option.
Now, our next trick, number 4, is all about building momentum. It's called the yes ladder, and it works because of a deep-seated need we all have to be consistent. Once we start saying yes to small things, it becomes psychologically harder and harder for us to suddenly switch to no. This is a perfect real-world example. Let's say you want a promotion. You don't just march in and ask for it. You build a staircase of yeses. You start small. Can I join that meeting? Can I take on this extra project? Each yes you get makes the next one easier, until asking for the promotion itself just feels like the next logical step. For them to say no would feel weird and inconsistent. Trick number 3. This one moves away from subtle logic and goes straight for the emotions. It's called the guilt trap, and it's so effective because while you can argue with someone's logic, it's much, much harder to argue with their feelings. This technique basically weaponizes a person's own sense of obligation against them. Just listen to how that's framed. The request isn't simply, can I borrow your car? It starts by reminding you of a past favor. That 2,000 rupees isn't just money, it's an emotional invoice that they're now cashing in. All of a sudden, saying no doesn't just feel unhelpful, it feels downright ungrateful. So here's the key. The guilt trap works by making you feel like doing what they want is the only way to get rid of that awful, guilty feeling, a feeling that they just created. It's incredibly powerful because it feels like the pressure is coming from inside you. All right, trick number 2 is where things start to get a little bit unsettling. It's about planting false memories. This one preys on a fundamental weakness that we all share. Our memories are nowhere near as reliable as we like to think. Yeah, we love to think our memory is like a perfect video recording of the past, right? But it's actually much more like a Word document, one that can be opened up, changed around, and saved again. And a skilled manipulator knows exactly how to get in there and start typing. So here's how it's done. A politician wants to look good. They make a bold claim, true or not, like, I created 5,000 jobs. Then they just repeat it, everywhere, over and over with absolute confidence, maybe adding in a few convincing details. After hearing it enough, people's brains just kind of stop questioning it. It starts to feel like a memory, a fact they've always known. And now, for the number 1 trick. This is the most powerful, the most counterintuitive, and honestly, probably the hardest one to master. It's not about what you say, it's about what you don't say. So what do you think it is? What's the single most potent tool in any negotiation, interrogation, or debate? We're often told it's about having the best arguments or the cleverest words, but it's not even close. The answer is silence. We're conditioned to believe that the person who is talking holds the power, but the real control belongs to whoever is most comfortable with silence. That quiet creates a vacuum, and human nature absolutely hates a vacuum. The other person will rush to fill it, and when they do, they'll often reveal too much or give up something important. And you can apply this almost anywhere. In an interrogation, you state your case. I know everything. And then you just shut up. The suspect's own anxiety will do the rest of the work. In a negotiation, you name your price, say a 30% discount, and then you just wait. The other side will often start negotiating against themselves just to break the tension. It's the ultimate power move.
So now you can see the strings. These are 5 techniques from a playbook that's used in boardrooms, in political rallies, and maybe even in your own life. The goal here was awareness, because once you can see the strings, you can't be a puppet. So the question isn't just how you'll use this knowledge, but how you'll react now that you know it's being used on you.